What's cooking, everybody? It's Monday, November 9th. It was literally in the 70s today, and this is the Poor Couples Food Guide Deep Dish Podcast, where we do a deep dive on all your favorite foods. I'm your host, Poor Couples Food Guide Erik, aka The Goose, aka Erik-san, and with me, as always, is my lovely co-host, Poor Couples Food Guide Meg, aka Lay Skunk, aka Kusa-chan.
Hello.
And together we are the poor couple who are getting ready for Thanksgiving. We hope you're not hungry for some tasty knowledge facts today, because we are going off topic. Let's get started with this week's appetizers. So, our last episode, we did our Halloween Spooktacular special, and it was a fun one. We did Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, and we did some spooky, fun facts and stuff about, we did poor taste. We covered some of that stuff. And it led directly into Thanksgiving itself, which was...
Halloween itself.
Yeah, Halloween, not Thanksgiving. I got Thanksgiving on the mind. Got Thanksgiving shit here. It's a Thanksgiving-themed off-topic episode, so Thanksgiving. But yeah, we did Halloween last week, and it worked out really well, actually, aside from the fact that it was fucking
so cold.
Freezing. It was so cold, yeah.
That would have been that's like the coldest Halloween I can remember.
Yeah, pretty much not joking, it's November, and it was, the temperature was in the 70s today.
Yeah.
It was, it's been, a warm, late summer day the past few days. It's been awesome. But, that said, just a week ago, on Halloween, it was in, the 30s and the 40s.
Yeah, it was in the 40s.
So, yeah, I mean, as we went over in the last episode, my costume was All Might from My Hero Academia, the true form or, Hurt version of him, where he just has a t-shirt on. Bad idea for a costume. Bad call on my part. Because I picked that costume in the middle of October.
When it was still
nice. When it was in the 50s, 60s. It was warm and sunny. And then, lo and behold, I had to wear a t-shirt for my costume. Just a loose-fitting, crappy white t-shirt. Thin fabric. And I was pretty cold. Even with my, undershirt. But it worked out in the end.
I was wearing a flannel long-sleeve shirt and it was still cold. That's
how
cold it was.
Yeah, we went to a Halloween party. It was actually really well done. Our friend Dan, what he did was we had a bonfire set up under some tents, which I'm not sure if that's actually safe or not, but it seemed to work out. The tent didn't catch on fire or anything.
When has safety ever stopped, Dan?
That's true. There's the same friend of ours who just shows up with a bag of fireworks to every other party. But so... Yeah, we had a bonfire, we had tents set up, and he set up a space heater with on a propane tank or something, which, hey, even though it was 40 degrees outside, I was pretty warm that whole time we were there. It was really nice. We did karaoke, we had a fire pit, we had desserts and food. It was a fun time.
Yeah, it was nice.
Most people showed up in costumes. Some people just kind of did here's my costume, I had a jacket, and... called it a day, but
everyone gets a pass this year for lack of effort in anything.
Yeah, I think my brother-in-law Bob, I think he got his costume an hour before the party, which he got dinosaur pajamas or something to be because their family went as Harry Potter characters, but he pulled it off in the end. So, but yeah, Thanksgiving. I mean, Halloween was fun. Why do we call it Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving is an endangered species. And of all the holidays, Thanksgiving is just getting skipped over because everyone's just get to Christmas already. So maybe that's why. Subconscious, my brain is no, we must defend Thanksgiving.
But we're going to soon.
Yeah.
But first we're just going over Halloween.
Yeah, we had to go over Halloween, and then, the past week was a real friggin' doozy of just wacky shit going on,
Personally, nationally.
It all capped off with Alex Trebek, rest in peace. That was a huge bummer. We're both big Jeopardy fans. And I mean, if any of you are waiting for us to give a statement on the US election,
you have a long wait.
Yeah, basically, Poor Couples Food Guide's stance on the US election is fuck the United States election, fuck Democrats, fuck Republicans, it's a joke. And everybody that cares that much about it, you're a joke too. So, get over it.
Today is Charlie's anniversary.
That's true. After a week of garbage, this week it's been nice weather, and also we got Charlie about a year ago to the day. So, it's not his birthday. His birthday was back in July, but he's a good boy. Yeah, it's his anniversary, adoptiversary. So he's a good dog. So I don't regret getting him. But I guess that's all to say about for appetizers. Speaking of Thanksgiving, one of the things we're going to do today, since it is an off-topic episode, there's no main course in terms of, deep dive into history, unfortunately. But
maybe next year we can do
yeah.
a actual episode on Thanksgiving stuff.
It's tricky because with Thanksgiving foods, like, well, I don't know, what is the history of turkey? Like, the history of turkey is, like, at some point in as long as humans have existed in North America, like, probably Native Americans saw a turkey, shot it with an arrow, and then cooked it. And that was there you go. There's your history of turkey. But, so, for today, we got a Thanksgiving-themed topic, and then also we've got, for dessert, we're going to be doing,
shitty old recipes.
Yeah, shitty old recipes. We haven't done that in a long time, actually.
Yeah.
We've done a good run we've done Poor Taste last week, we did a couple of review roasts, so I think this is like a fan favorite.
It's time
actually.
for the return.
It's time to return. Do you have a Thanksgiving-themed shitty old recipe, or just a shitty old recipe?
Just a shitty old recipe.
Okay, but you know what? There's a lot of crazy foods that show up at Thanksgiving dinners. So
it could.
Everyone's got that like weird, like distant aunt that nobody like really knows how they're related who shows up and they're like, "Here, I have an eyeball quiche," and it's like, where'd you get eyeballs from? Okay, so that should wrap up this week's appetizers. So without further ado, I present to you today's non-main course. So as mentioned, we're going to be going over some Thanksgiving foods for today's main course, so to speak.
Is it a buffet when we do an off-topic?
Maybe it is a buffet. I like that. Let's that's going to be the new thing. Now I present to you today's buffet. So for today's new edition, which is called the buffet, in off-topic episodes, we're going to be ranking and creating a tier list of Thanksgiving foods. So basically, we're gonna, we can't cover every single food that show up at like every Thanksgiving dinner. We just joked around about how like every family's got like someone who shows up with some weird dish that nobody wants. But we tried our best to cover like the main big ones that everybody does at Thanksgiving, and then a couple of Japanese Thanksgiving ones and a couple of like Canadian Thanksgiving ones. So
and some that are just at like our Thanksgiving that I don't know how many other people have. But
yeah, so I mean, most of them, yeah. I don't, there's nothing in there like we didn't throw any curveballs in there. Like there's nothing like I don't know, pudding like I don't know, turkey pudding or something. I can't even think of anything. But, yeah, fun fact, they do celebrate Thanksgiving in Japan, and unlike Canadian Thanksgiving, it's actually around the same time as American Thanksgiving. Totally unrelated, it's still called Thanksgiving, and for them, it's more of like a Labor Day, because they're giving thanks to, like, all the hard workers that, like, make civilized society, like, able to exist. So, but they still do... They don't exactly do, like, turkey dinner because that's, like, an American thing. Weirdly, one thing we've picked up on is that, like, Japan doesn't really seem, and Asia as a whole doesn't really seem to know that turkeys exist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, turkeys as, like, that we know them, like, just aren't there, so...
Yeah, turkeys are endemic only to, just North and South America, I think. So they're an all-American bird.
Yeah, that's why they're... proposed to be our national birds, the bald eagle.
To be fair, bald eagles are way better fucking thing. Bald eagles are badass. Like, I really like turkeys. Turkeys are in, like, my top 25 animals. That's not a joke. I have a list of top 25 favorite animals. I'm big on making stupid lists. I was doing lists before listicles was a thing. And actually, after listicles are a thing, because I feel like the whole stupid, like, list articles are, like, on their way out now, too. But, yeah, so... I don't know. If anyone's curious to get my like top 25 animals list, feel free to hit us up on Instagram or YouTube. We'll gladly shove that into some video or social media somewhere just for everyone to see.
I think the laptop is trying to restart.
Yeah, that's not allowed.
Bad timing.
Yeah, that's gonna have to happen later. But yeah, so they don't have turkey in Japan, but they have some other stuff. Like we got 2 Japanese Thanksgiving dishes on this list. We've got mostly American ones and a couple that that are supposed to be like more like Canadian Thanksgiving. Although it seems like Canadian Thanksgiving is a lot closer to American Thanksgiving. So, but let's go over this list. Here are your contenders for the Poor Couples Food Guide Thanksgiving tier list. So, we've got turkey, gravy. Those are some easy ones. We got stuffing and mashed potatoes, more low balls, rolls, cranberry sauce, biscuits, pumpkin pie, green bean casserole, broccoli casserole, fried cauliflower, teppanyaki wings, sweet potato casserole, or candied yams for some people, pecan pie, apple pie, or roasted carrots, pumpkin roll. Pumpkin carrot sounds good, actually. I should invent that. Roasted carrots, pumpkin roll, turnips, mac and cheese, and Japanese croquettes. I failed to mention teppanyaki wings are one of the Japanese
if
ones.
If you couldn't guess by the name.
Yeah. Oh, who could have thought? Teppanyaki wings.
Did I actually spell it right?
You did. You did spell
did
teppanyaki wings correctly. And we forgot to mention mac and cheese is on there because it's a popular soul food Thanksgiving dish with like a lot of like in the South, like black families. So, and come on, like who wouldn't want to have mac and cheese?
I know, I'm a little jealous. Like when I found out about that, I was like, I've been missing out all these years.
Man, what are we doing? Fucking get rid of the fucking cranberry sauce. So yeah, let us put this together. And let's start off with bottom tier because
I was gonna say, do we go through the tiers or do we go through the foods and rank them?
We'll go through the foods and we can rank them, but we didn't actually type up the tiers themselves. So that's what I'm doing now while I kill for time.
I guess while we stall, first I'll go over. So the foods that have been at my family's Thanksgiving are, like, the basics, like the turkey, gravy, stuffing, mashed potatoes, rolls, etc. I guess the one, like, random one would be the broccoli casserole, and, like, more recently the fried cauliflower and teppanyaki wings. But also, I didn't add it to the list, but because, like, he hasn't been doing it lately, but my dad makes artichoke pie, which we used to have at Thanksgiving. Because there's so much other food now, he usually makes it like later in the week when my family does like Thanksgiving leftover, like Thanksgiving part 2 and has leftovers for dinner.
That's probably got to be like an Italian thing, artichokes. Because I don't think anyone else in America eats artichokes except Italian Americans.
Maybe, I don't know. It's not actually like a family from my family recipe. He actually got it from one of his like ex-girlfriends, like
weird.
Moms.
That is Well, let's
it's become a family recipe.
Let us fact check, or not fact. Let's investigate that live on air. Artichokes Thanksgiving.
Those look like fried artichokes.
Yeah, we got artichoke stuffing, artichoke casserole for Thanksgiving.food.com. Oh, Thanksgiving.food.com, but it says Thanksgiving.food.com. So whatever. So we'll include artichokes. We'll I also cauliflower. Cauliflower is a weird one, just not to get into it yet, but cauliflower it's like not a Middle Eastern like cuisine like fried cauliflower, but it's like almost Middle East, like the Caucasus
like
Mountains
Turkish or something.
Something. It's from like the meeting grounds of like Europe and Middle East, but basically my family just has been making it for as long as I have known. I always assumed that it was an Italian thing, but then recently we found out, like I said, it's kind of like a Mid-East, like, kind of like, it's like Albanian food or something, but we were always like, what the hell, where did that come from? Then, so my mother's family is all Italian, but then she did Ancestry DNA a couple years ago, and she was like 90% Italian, like 92% Italian, and then she had like this one little thing of like 7%, like Greek or like Caucasus Mountains, which is where cauliflower, like fried cauliflower, was a dish. And we were just like, that was really cool. That was like, I thought that was really interesting.
There's all the pieces coming into place.
Yeah, because like I said, I always assumed that was just like, like I said, our families were a bunch of guineas. Like, hey, get the pasta, you get a meatball pasta, you get Sunday dinner, we got the pasta sauce. But then also there was just fried cauliflower for some reason, like breaded fried cauliflower and it's delicious. It's really, really good.
It's basically chicken cutlets, but with cauliflower instead of chicken.
And like like before, everyone and their mom ran out and was like, cauliflower everything, cauliflower pizza, cauliflower wraps, everything has to be cauliflower, cauliflower rice, cauliflower fried, just whatever. But before that stupid like cultural zeitgeist happened, I feel like fried cauliflower had a moment maybe like 10 years ago because a bunch of vegetarians were like, hey, we can't have buffalo wings, but what if we do fried cauliflower and toss that in buffalo sauce? And like, we tried it once and it was not as good as like chicken wings and like buffalo wings.
Fine.
It was good still. Like, honestly,
I'd rather just have the fried cauliflower.
Yeah, the fried cauliflower
sauce,
on its own was like good. So but so like fried cauliflower just for like at my family was always a Thanksgiving thing.
And you started bringing it.
And so we started bringing it to yours, and your family was like, "Oh, this is good. Like, holy shit! Like, keep making this, keep bringing this." So, and then like we did look into it. And apparently, just cauliflower in general is a popular Thanksgiving food here. So we will change that and modify to just cauliflower, not fried cauliflower. So we've stalled for long enough. So let's go through this on a food by food basis, and we will rank these into their tiers. So let's start with...
Wait, what are the tiers?
So, okay.
Wait, I realized I could just like scroll down.
We're going real simple here. There's only 5 of them. So at the bottom, you've got bottom tier, or should we call it shit tier? Let's call it bottom tier, because shit tier is kind of mean.
Yeah.
So we got bottom tier, then above that you got low tier, which that's all your stuff that's like, it's not the best. That's the one you take like just a little bit on your plate and just kind of like hope the gravy washes over. Mid tier is all your foods that are like, yeah, you put them on because they're supposed to be there. High tier is the good stuff that, you load up on as much as you can. And then God tier it's God tier. It's the top of the tiers. And that's basically like if you could just eat a whole meal of it and just make that the whole dinner. So let us start up with the number one thing that everyone thinks of with Thanksgiving dinner, turkey.
That's gotta be God tier, right?
Turkey,
it's like the main course.
It's gotta be at the very least high tier, because it's the star. But then like turkey, I feel like stupidly turkey can be kind of divisive, because I've seen a lot of pushback with idiots in like the past 5 years, like online, with people being like, oh, turkey's not that good, it's always dry, and it's only good when you put gravy on. Which I say to those people, go to a house where people know how to fucking cook turkey, because turkey is not dry, turkey does not have no flavor, and it doesn't need gravy if you cook it correctly.
Yeah. Turkey has more flavor than chicken.
Yeah, turkey is basically chicken on freaking steroids. Chicken is, like, I love chicken. 90% of the food we cook in this house is chicken, but, like, fuck chicken. Compared to turkey, like, turkey is just, imagine if chicken had a flavor. That's turkey. That's what turkey is. It's just big chicken that has a flavor, an actual taste to it. So, like, I like I said, I would definitely say at least bare ass minimum high tier, maybe God tier, just because like it's turkey. It's the stuff. I would.
Can we move things around as we go?
Yeah, we can move things around as we go. So I guess let's start off with turkey at high tier, and we'll see how things go. What do we have up next after turkey?
Gravy.
Gravy, that's another one that's got to be up there because...
But then it's tricky because except for the one time after I had my wisdom teeth out, like you don't just like really eat gravy on its own.
That's true. That's kind of tricky because...
Like gravy on things, excellent. Just a pitcher of gravy, I would argue maybe mid to high tier.
Yeah, I would say mid to high tier. Let's stick gravy at high tier just because depending on how we like end up putting everything else, it may move up or down. Yeah. It's definitely not anything below mid tier because it's necessary, but like you said, it's not something where you're just gonna glug it unless, like you said, you get your wisdom teeth taken out and it's the only savory food you can have. There's only so much pudding and jello you could have after like oral surgery. So we're gonna stick gravy is going right underneath turkey right now in high tier. Next up, what do we got? Stuffing.
I love stuffing. I would consider it for God tier. I don't know how you feel about it.
Stuffing, I would say stuffing is like...
I could eat a whole like pot of stuffing
You
in one sitting.
You do like stuffing. You like bread a lot.
I do.
You're the only person I know that's just like not 5 who will just be like, ooh, bread. Just plain ass bread. You know what? I will give you that. I will give you stuffing in God tier, and we'll revisit that later on. But yeah, stuffing, just because stuffing even without gravy is still really good. And you know what? Actually, it does deserve to be in God tier. Actually, I think, because even box stuffing is great. Like, even box stuffing is just legit. Like, you could eat a pot of it, because like, you know. Honestly, I think I prefer, like, this is a weird take from people who actually cook, but I think I like box stuffing more than fresh stuffing, like, made from scratch, like, cooked in the turkey. Like, I don't know. I feel like every time it comes out, like, kind of wet, it turns weird colors because, like, the turkey blood is, I don't know. And also, like, not the most appetizing thing to just be like, yeah, we took butter and bread and shoved it up a dead bird's asshole and stuck it in the oven and it was on fire for 4 hours. Like, I don't know. Just, like, have it, like, that's a tricky. But, like, either way, the fact that, like, freshly made or from a box, it's still amazing. Wonderful. Like, that belongs up in God tier. I think everyone likes stuffing. I don't think I've ever actually met someone who's like, I don't like stuffing. It's just perfect. It's just all the flavors of the turkey and the bread and the butter. Just,
I guess sad people who can't eat carbs don't like it. But even then, they're, like, sad they can't eat it. It's not that they don't like it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think anyone goes, oh, I don't like that. They're just like, oh, I shouldn't have that because I don't actually want to, like, go for a walk after to burn off those carbs. Carbs are evil, except for the fact that your body needs them to burn off energy. Okay, next up we've got
mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes, which I feel, I love mashed potatoes, but mashed potatoes, like, let's be real, they're just an inferior stuffing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if we're speaking of food strictly at Thanksgiving dinner, mashed potatoes are, like, low tier for me.
Yeah.
Like, they're a great side dish, but I feel like they're unnecessary at Thanksgiving, to be honest. I always take such a little bit of them.
Yeah, mashed potatoes, it's tricky, because, like I said, mashed potatoes are great, but, like, as a Thanksgiving food, they're just outdone by other stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, I'll give it to potatoes. Like, mashed potatoes, well, like, not that mashed potatoes are, I mean, they're not bad for you, but I wouldn't call them a health food, but they are still, like potatoes are good for you. Like, I don't know, just, for some reason I see people once in a while who are just like, oh, mashed potatoes are junk food. And it's like, no, not all potatoes are French fries. So, mashed potatoes, like I said, what I'll give to mashed potatoes is that they are healthier and they're a little better for you than stuffing, because stuffing, like, not to be one of the people who I just, like, made fun of literally 4 minutes ago, who, like, was like, oh, that's a lot of carbs. But, like, at the end of the day, stuffing is delicious, but it is just a bunch of, like, empty calories. It's just bread and butter and, like, meat juice. So, like, stuffing, mashed potatoes, the one thing it has going for it is that, like, it's at least got, like, vitamins. It's a vegetable. So, like,
I still vote for low tier.
I will give you that, though. It is low tier. Low to mid, but we'll stick it in low for now and see what else ends up down there. Similarly, or not similarly, but like a cousin of stuffing, we have rolls.
This is another one where it's kind of like mashed potatoes, and, like, I love rolls. But although I eat more rolls at Thanksgiving than mashed potatoes, though. But that's because I'll cut one open and, like, make a mini sandwich.
Yeah,
I would give rolls one notch above mashed potatoes.
Yeah, because rolls, especially if you get, like, sweet rolls, like Hawaiian rolls and stuff, those are really good.
Yeah.
And they do go really well with gravy. The only problem with rolls that I'll say is that, similar to mashed potatoes, they are outdone by another contender on this list, which we'll go over in a couple of steps. So, yeah, let's stick rolls at low tier, because I don't think anyone would be, like, disappointed and walk away from a Thanksgiving dinner, like, Oh no, they didn't have rolls.
I would be a little disappointed if there wasn't a bread side of some sort.
There's stuffing. It's literally bread.
Well, like a kind you can put butter on, or make a little sandwich with.
I guess so. We'll come back to that because, like I said, we got another bread contender that's a little bit further down the list. So next up, after rolls, we've got
cranberry
sauce.
This is very divisive.
Is it? Because I was just going to say fucking bottom of the fucking barrel, bottom tier for cranberry sauce.
I like cranberry sauce.
Oh my god, you're killing me here.
I'm not going to say it's like god tier or anything, but like you want to put it on the bottom, but like I feel like it should be low tier. Well, wait, all right. We also need to... Do we divide it up into like the like fresh cranberry sauce versus the canned?
All cranberry sauce. The good fresh cranberry sauce has to also be paired up with the shitty like Jello sauce that comes out of a can. Like you open a can and it just comes out as in the shape of a can.
But then there's lines, so you know where to cut it. It comes with built-in lines.
I don't think cranberry sauce has a place at Thanksgiving. Like at this point in history, because it is just associated with Thanksgiving dinner, yes, it's part of it now, but I feel like if someone went back in time and just like erased the portion of history where cranberries started getting served alongside like turkey and shit, no one would care. No one would know that they were missing out.
Well, all right. How about this though? Like everything at Thanksgiving is very just like, it's kind of like dense, whereas when you get the cranberries and you got a nice zing, you got like a little freshness to lighten up kind of the heavy carbs and everything though.
Yeah, I get it adds a little sweetness, but like I feel like there's better foods that accomplish that, but we can...
If you want to put it on the bottom, you gave me some, so you can put it in
we'll
the
stick
bottom
it in low tier for now, but we eventually got to stick something into the bottom tier because
I know what I want to stick in the bottom tier.
Okay. Next up, as I was saying, my big qualm with rolls is that they are entirely fucking outclassed by biscuits by miles.
I guess. I feel like we don't usually have biscuits at my Thanksgiving.
And it's insane. You're supposed to have biscuits at Thanksgiving.
We always have rolls.
Biscuits are better than rolls. Biscuits are like if a roll was like preloaded with butter. Butter is that's what biscuits are. They're bread that is pre-installed with butter.
I guess. I feel like biscuits are like everyday bread side, and rolls are like the fancier ones you break out for the special occasions, which Thanksgiving is.
But they're worse.
No, they're not.
They're not bad. Rolls aren't bad, but just like they're like I said, they're just outdone by biscuits. Like biscuits are just so perfect. And especially the fact that they mop up the gravy better than rolls, because rolls usually biscuits have that rough texture, that rough crumbly texture that like sops up the gravy like a sponge. Rolls, you gotta rip them open first to get the gravy to go on the inside, because it's not gonna stick on the outside. They're smooth on the outside.
I guess.
Biscuits, like I said, biscuits just outclass rolls. So I would stick biscuits at mid tier at the very bare minimum.
I feel like biscuits and rolls should be on the same level, but we'll see.
All right, we'll stick. Everything's going into low tier so far.
No, you can put biscuits in mid tier, but then you gotta move rolls up.
No. Actually, all right, fine. We'll stick those both in there. Biscuits and rolls are now in mid tier. What do we have next up?
Pumpkin pie. Or do you want to save desserts for later?
No, we'll do desserts right now, just because like I don't know, we're not gonna separate them later on.
So yeah, then pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie, I think pumpkin pie goes into God tier.
Yeah.
No fucking questions asked. It's pumpkin pie. Yeah. That is the ultimate Thanksgiving dessert. Pumpkin pie, it's to the point where, like, for better or worse, nobody eats pumpkin pie the rest of the fucking year except for Thanksgiving.
Like, some people have it at Christmas, and that's it. But even then, like, I didn't even know people had it at Christmas until, like, relatively recently.
Yeah, honestly, like, we should eat more pumpkin pie, because pumpkin pie is awesome, but for some reason, it's just, like, you know what I think it is? I think people are just, like, they have it in their brain that's, like, that's the Thanksgiving food, and that's the only time you can make it. But, like, honestly...
I think it's kind of like turkey, too.
Yeah. Like that goes back to what we were saying. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh, turkey's not as good. Chicken's better." Because it's because people don't eat turkey the rest of the year. Like we make turkeys like just randomly because
we buy them when they're on sale and then freeze them and eat them.
I think at one point like we dropped off 2 turkeys at my parents' house last year because we didn't have any room in our freezer. We were just like, "Hey, Mom, I'm putting just 2 whole turkeys in your freezer, and we're just gonna get them someday." But like I don't know, it's a good investment. Go to Aldi when they have turkey on sale for like 87 cents a pound, and you can get a 10-pound turkey for like $9.
Yeah.
So you get basically a fucking large game bird that you can cook and feed like 10 people with for like $8-9.
Yeah.
Like where the hell else are you gonna find a food thing where it's like it's $1 per serving? Like that's unheard of. So yeah, going back to pumpkin pie. People should be eating it more often. They should have it whole, like, I mean, obviously not the whole year. I mean, you can get pumpkin puree the whole year, but, like, all fall, people should be having pumpkin shit. So,
October through December, at least.
Pretty much. So, yeah, pumpkin pie is going into God tier. What do we have up next?
Green bean casserole.
Green bean casserole.
I feel like my grandma used to make this sometimes, but we never really had it at Thanksgiving, I don't think. I don't remember how it is.
I remember we would have it at my family's Thanksgiving a lot as well, but
I feel like it's one of those things where, like, it's just okay, but, like, it somehow got made tradition.
Yeah, it's...
culturally.
It's... Because casseroles are big at Thanksgiving. But, like, green bean casserole is, like, the worst casserole.
Yeah.
Like, green beans are weird, because beans...
I don't mind green beans as much as you do.
I was going to say, green beans suck, but also, sometimes I find myself craving them. Like, I want that just, like...
snap?
That's... Not even the snap. Sometimes I'm just like, man, I really want to, like, just taste the flavor of, like, chewing on, like, a plant or a leaf. Just the vegetation flavor. Like, sometimes I crave it. I guess that's what happens when you get into your 30s. You're just like, I'm craving the taste of vegetables, just fucking raw-ass vegetables that don't have any flavor. So, like, I don't hate green beans. I just think they're very bland. Like, very, very bland. So, like, because of that, when you put them into a casserole, like, casseroles, like, hot take here, but, like, casseroles are really over-fucking rated. Like, I know, like, the Midwest is obsessed with them.
The Midwest is gonna come stab you.
You know what? Come fucking fight me. You guys have never heard of penne alla vodka, and, like... I'd be surprised if you ever seen, like, anything that wasn't, you know, that was even remotely ethnic. So, like, fight me in real life. Let's go. The casseroles, whatever. Casseroles are fine, but, like, the whole thing of just, like, oh, casseroles are a lifesaver. It's like, no, they're not. Fucking learn to cook any other dish, and casseroles are what. So, you know what?
I would say the one thing that green bean casserole has going for it, and which is probably why it's still around, is the French fried onions on top.
That is a very, very compelling argument, actually.
I legit used to just eat the French fried onions as, like, a snack from the can.
I think everybody did, because, like, I don't know, like, they're delicious. They're just, like, onion rings in a can. So, like...
I would still be fine putting this on bottom, though, just because, like, we can put it on low tier, though.
Let's stick it on low tier for now.
So people don't get angry at us.
So we don't get just, like, I don't know, Idaho, Ohio, and Nebraska, and just, I don't know, fuck, what even counts as the Midwest? And just, except for everything that's not on the fucking coast. Green bean casserole is going into low tier. What do we have up next?
Broccoli casserole, which is what my mom makes.
See, now, broccoli
biased.
casserole... Well, see, I didn't actually eat broccoli casserole at Thanksgiving until I started going to your family's Thanksgiving. And broccoli casserole is awesome. So, no argument here. Broccoli casserole, that's a good... See, here's the thing. Green bean casserole, broccoli casserole, that's good. That's the good stuff. Because it actually has a flavor to it. It actually tastes like a food that you want to put in your body. And not just like, oh, it's kind of like... It tastes like kind of like
loopy beans.
Green. Yeah, it's just like weird old green beans. So, yeah. I
would say high tier personally, but I understand if it goes mid tier just because it's not like possibly a popular around thing.
So you know what we'll do? Let's stick it into mid tier because that's the minimum for it, but it could move up more.
Okay. Depending
on how everything else falls. But like I feel like most people, despite the fact that like broccoli gets this stupid reputation. Like, ew, broccoli, that's the gross food. It's the gross vegetable. It's like, there's way worse vegetables out there, namely green beans, for example. But, like, broccoli, here's the problem with broccoli. Everyone who has ever been like, broccoli sucks, this is similar to turkey, it's because they didn't eat it cooked properly. I don't know what the hell it is. I remember I grew up in a household where broccoli was like the Italian-American broccoli, where they take broccoli, they steam it until it's soft and tender, and then they throw it into a friggin' pan where they saute garlic and in olive oil with like pepper and pepper flakes. And you get the broccoli has like, we just had it for dinner tonight. We had to roast it because our friggin' steam bread was like on the fritz because our apartment is moldy. But broccoli's awesome. Just cook it. There's so many people that just are like, oh, here's a vegetable. It's steamed. It's done. You won't have to add salt or pepper or seasoning to it. What asshole came up with that? Every time I've gone to a restaurant and been like, oh boy, broccoli. And it's just a steamed plain broccoli. I'm just like, this is why people don't like broccoli. But no, like broccoli, if you put it into a broccoli casserole, it tastes good. Broccoli has a flavor. You just have to, add salt to it to actually taste it. So yeah, we'll stick broccoli casserole into mid-tier for now.
Next up is cauliflower.
Okay. So as I mentioned before, cauliflower, that's basically like broccoli casserole is kind of like your family's thing, and it's not super common. I explained before, cauliflower was always like a Thanksgiving thing for my family growing up, and just in general, like not just on Thanksgiving, but especially as Thanksgiving. So, but we did look it up. A lot of people do make cauliflower for Thanksgiving. They don't always fry it like I do, but like, come on, everything's better fried, especially vegetables. So, but similarly to you, to throw biases aside, I will stick it in mid-tier. Just because I feel that's fair enough. Because I would place it in higher God tier, personally. But I acknowledge not everyone makes fried cauliflower. They might just like roast it. Or make a casserole with it. So I'll stick it in mid-tier. Just especially because by no stretch should it be in bottom or low. Just because even though like I feel like everyone's starting to calm down a little. Like everyone still is fucking up their own ass over cauliflower. So I think everyone still does really like cauliflower. So that can stay in mid-tier.
I would also say, like, not, like, the same as mashed potatoes, but similarly, like, at least for us, like, fried cauliflower is a side dish we make frequently throughout the year. So, like, while it's awesome, it's not necessarily, like, necessary for Thanksgiving. It's just, like, nice to have there because it's yummy.
Okay, so next up, we have got artichokes. So, you mentioned before that your father makes artichoke pie.
Yeah.
Which...
It's
not a dessert.
No, it's not.
Let's clear that up first.
It doesn't belong in shitty old recipes. It's basically like pie crust, and you saute artichoke hearts with onion and garlic and stuff.
Again, if you want to make vegetables taste good, you saute them with salt and garlic and onions, and then they become good.
And then you just layer like the artichoke in the pie crust with mozzarella cheese.
Yeah, so the only thing that makes it better than like sauteing stuff with garlic and olive oil
is adding cheese.
So, yeah, that's another thing where again I never really liked artichokes. Never had artichoke pie. Didn't know it was a thing. But then started having it at your parents' house around Thanksgiving. I was like, yeah, this is good. So, for the same thing as the last two though, we should stick this in mid-tier.
Yeah.
Just because, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if
no one else ever has it at Thanksgiving.
Well, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, maybe it's, like, just, like, an Italian-American, thing, like, get the artichokes for Thanksgiving, like, that kind of, so, because that, it goes into mid-tier, like, and I know there's a lot of things ending up in mid-tier, but, like, that's how everything is, like, I don't know, competitive Pokemon, everything's in mid-tier, Smash Brothers, all the characters are mid-tier, so, like, that's just how tier lists work.
Yeah. We'll revisit at the end. Maybe something.
Yeah, we'll do some organizing towards the ending of it. So, next up, we've got our first Asian entry, teppanyaki wings, which, as we mentioned earlier, are Japanese Thanksgiving food. Basically, teppanyaki wings are, unfortunately, they're not turkey wings because, like we said, just Japan just doesn't cook turkey stuff because they don't have turkey, I guess. It's not common there. But what they do is they take chicken wings, they fry them so they're crispy, and then they coat that in not exactly a teriyaki sauce, but it's close enough that it's basically teriyaki sauce. They coat it and toss it in teriyaki sauce and others like seasonings like sancho pepper, sesame seeds, and they're just like a real, just like it's like tebasaki, like fried with like tebasaki, like teriyaki wings with like a zing to it. Like they're really good. You marinate them with like garlic and ginger and soy sauce before you fry them. So like those are just like, mwah, those are great. So
I would say those could go high tier.
yeah, I would say because even though they're not common in America, obviously, like I said, it's a popular Thanksgiving food in Japan. Despite all that, they're so good that they deserve to be high tier, whether anyone knows they exist or not in the United States. So, tebasaki wings, those are going in high tier with turkey and gravy. So far, high tier is all the meat shit. It's turkey gravy and tebasaki wings. So, that brings us to next one, which is sweet potato casserole or candied yams.
Straight in the bottom.
Bottom fucking tier. Bottom of the barrel garbage shit tier.
Like, this is legit why I thought I didn't like sweet potatoes until, like, 10 years ago, maybe even less, more recently.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was my only, like, experience with sweet potatoes or, like, candied yams was, like, just that, like, goo at Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Covered in burnt marshmallow. Not even burnt, but, you know, the marshmallow.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this is...
Yeah.
Even as, like, a 5-year-old, I'm like, this is too sweet.
Basically.
Like, I don't want this.
Like, I don't know whose idea it was to be like, hey, let's take this vegetable that's already, like, pretty sweet and then fucking, mix in sugar and brown sugar and then put marshmallows, which are just pure sugar, on top of it and just bake that up so it's just, like, sweeter than any dessert known into the history of mankind. Yeah, similarly, I remember having... like candied yams and marshmallow shitty like roasted like sweet potatoes as a kid and be like, oh, I don't like this. Because like when you eat it, your brain is like, this is dessert, but it's at dinner, so it doesn't make sense. It's just like, and the worst part about it is that sweet potatoes are awesome.
They are.
Sweet
They're very
potatoes
good.
when you cook them are fantastic. They're this peak food category where they taste fucking awesome and they're good for you too, like really good for you. But then some asshole was just like, nah, you know how they taste good and they're good for you? Let's just wipe both that out by just covering them in fucking sugar so that they're bad for you and they taste bad. So, and like that's coming from me. I'm not a sugar crusader. Like we eat fucking cookies on a like non-stop basis basically. Like sugar's awesome, it tastes good, but
there's a time and place for it.
That's the kind of shit that gives like the sugar crusaders like, you know, fodder. So like, yeah, those deserve, if there was a friggin' tier lower than bottom tier, that's what they end up. Does anyone, honestly, please, if you're listening to this, any of our listeners or watchers, if you actually like candied yams and friggin' marshmallow goo orange shit in the oven, if that actually is appealing, please explain to us why. And we'll never agree with you, but we'll at least get an answer. We'll listen. We'll give it a spin. We'll at least try to put ourselves into that mindset.
For a second, could we also take a minute to talk about the like candied yam like conspiracy at the grocery store with the 2 cans?
It's so bizarre. I'm probably the only person who's actually noticed this because I have probably a latent brain injury of some sort. But just like every Thanksgiving, I can't help but notice. Here's an experiment. Especially if you live in Long Island, where there's like 70 million grocery stores, or anytime you go to the grocery store where you get access to like candied yams and stuff, there are 2 major brands of like sweet potatoes / yams, and like yams technically aren't sweet potatoes. We call them yams in this country, but that's besides the point. One of them is like an orange can, and I forget the 2 brand names. So one's an orange can with one brand, and it says canned yams. And then the other one is a purple can that says sweet potatoes. But then the 2 of them both have subtext or whatever. So like the one that says candied yams or canned yams, under that it says sweet potatoes in small font. The other one that says sweet potatoes in small font underneath, it says canned yams. The font is almost exactly the same. The logo is similar. The cans themselves are all the same size. They're like it's like someone drew them up in Photoshop, and then just like swapped like the colors and just like took the text and like blew it up and then took the other text and blew it. It's so, go look for it. Go find like the yams, like the canned sweet potatoes like in your grocery store and see what I'm talking about. They're weird. They're like palette swaps.
Didn't you take a picture of them last year?
I did, yeah. I'll put it up on the screen so that everyone can see what I'm talking about, so I don't look like a freaking crazy person. It's the most bizarre thing, and they're two separate companies as far as we know. Because I look at it every time. I'm like, hang on a second, and I look, and it's like, no, it says it was canned in a different factory in a different town. I don't know.
I feel like we definitely spent like 10 minutes staring at those cans last year.
Because it's just so stupid and so bizarre. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, that's the kind of shit where it's like, all right, conspiracy theorists, yeah, there's something going on with society. Oh, yeah, but sweet potato casserole and like just sugar, sweet potato roast garbage, that's bottom tier. Speaking of which, let's talk about pecan pie, which I also am not a big fan of because it's too damn sweet.
Yeah, I feel bad because like my mom makes pecan pie, but like I don't really like it.
It's because it just pecan
I like
pie,
nuts, but like I just don't
it
like
doesn't
pecan
taste
pie.
like nuts. It's just, again, it's similar to candied yams. It's just sugar goo goo, and it doesn't taste like anything, which is weird because like nuts are like that, like nutty flavor is a good thing. I don't even know what like pecan pie is just like a pie with just like brown goo and then some nuts on top of it.
I mean, I can tell you a main ingredient is corn syrup.
That explains a lot. So, but it doesn't taste like anything. Like, especially next to pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
Which
spices.
Spicy and good for you and tasty. Just, I
am okay with putting it in bottom tier with apologies to my mom.
It's nothing personal to like all the like, you know, like moms out there that make pecan pie and all the like people in the South that make it, but it's just not good. I think it just gets by on like creds alone. Like people just like, oh, pecan pie, we're gonna make some of that there. It's a down home Georgia favorite. And it's like, it's not good. It's just a shit. You know what? I can sum it up this way. Pecan pie somehow is too sweet to be dessert. It transcends dessert.
I wonder if anyone's going to comment on us saying pecan differently.
I mean, that comes down to the fact that, like, I have, like, fairly prominent, like, New York accent because my mother, she was born and raised in Brooklyn. So I picked that up from her, and then your mom is from the Midwest. So you sort of picked up, yeah. So like you don't have any trace of a New York accent whatsoever, which is really weird because you were born and raised here on Long Island.
I was,
but you just that's just how like speech develops, I guess, like from learning from your parents and stuff. And I mean, your dad is from New York too, but he doesn't have much of an accent either. But you say pecan, I say pecan. Pecan with your coffee, go park your fucking car out there. It could be worse. One of us could have a Boston accent. Next up, speaking of pies, here's apple pie. American apple pie, which we discussed in 2 episodes ago. It's not actually that American.
Yeah.
Not as American as pumpkin pie, but apple pie is still leagues ahead of pecan pie because it's, you know, it doesn't just taste like you're just downing sugar into your mouth. Apple pie, I would say that belongs in the mid-tier as well.
I was going to controversially say low tier, just because I feel like I associate apple pie more with, like, late summer, early fall than, like, late fall and, like, Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's fair. I could get with that, because, like, it's good,
yeah,
but
like,
you
good pie.
You start seeing it end of August, 'cause that's when apple season starts. So, yeah, we'll stick it in low tier. It's a good food that, you know, it's not the most common dessert at Thanksgiving, but it still does show up a lot, like frequently enough to be considered a Thanksgiving food. So we'll stick it into low tier just because, like I said, especially when, again, just pumpkin pie is just all the way up there. So, like, there's no need for any other pies. Next up, we've got roasted carrots, which we don't actually have at Thanksgiving all that often, but my family used to have carrots, like, pretty often.
Yeah, my family
and
doesn't have carrots because my dad doesn't like
your
carrots.
dad hates all orange food inexplicably. Like pumpkins, no bueno. Like carrots, no good. Sweet
Doesn't like
potatoes,
sweet potatoes.
won't eat them. Cheddar cheese is okay.
Yeah,
cheddar
cheese is
cheese
fine.
is all right, but yeah. So you don't get to have carrots. We had roasted carrots at Thanksgiving with my family a lot, and I mean, I like carrots as one of the first vegetables I actually like enjoyed when I was growing up. So, I mean, we read that it's like a common Thanksgiving food in Canada. Like they put maple syrup on it a lot, which actually sounds pretty good. Although like that's a little
Yeah, I
dicey.
was
Like
gonna say,
don't put
that's
too much
verging
on
into
there.
the sweet potato territory.
They don't put marshmallows on them as far as I
Alright.
know, so it should be okay. I mean, it's Canada. Like I think when I was researching Canadian Thanksgiving foods, like half of them were just like maple glazed bacon, maple glazed turkey, maple glazed ham, maple roasted carrots. So it's just like
That's fair.
that's their deal. Like Canada loves like their maple syrup. Like that's their jam. So like I'm not gonna judge them for it. Like I said, as long as they don't put like brown sugar and marshmallows on top of that, it should be fine. So I will stick roasted carrots into. I'll stick it into mid tier just because carrots are good, and you know if we have any Canadian viewers, we can't do them dirty like that. So we'll stick roasted carrots into mid tier because carrots are good for you and rabbits are cool, and we need to get more things into mid tier. We can't just throw everything to low tier.
I thought we had too much stuff in mid tier.
No, well, yeah, I mean, like I said before, though, everything ends up in mid tier though when you're doing tier lists. We got a few more here, so let's do pumpkin roll. Now, pumpkin roll is a very bittersweet topic for us actually right now because one of my family friends, like my father's best friend who went to high school with, it became a tradition for the weekend after Thanksgiving, like 2 days after Thanksgiving, my family would invite them over and some of our other friends, like for like they called it German Thanksgiving. My father is German. Sort of. He's like 20% German, or he's everything. But so they would do like sauerbraten, like which is like a oven roast, or no, it's a pot roast. Whatever. It's like a big meat thing that's like that's roasted in pot. So it's a pot roast. But they would do that. They would do like potato pancakes, and at dessert, my father's friend, he would bring pumpkin roll with him. Like that was his like signature dessert, and it was amazing. A pumpkin roll. If you never had it, it's a roll cake. You take a cake, like a sponge cake, and then you put like cream or like some sort of icing on it, and you roll it up, like you're rolling up like a yoga
giant,
mat.
What are those, ding dongs or yoo-hoos?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The Hostess ones. Swiss rolls? I don't know.
Probably Swiss roll, but like you roll the cake up like it's a yoga mat, so then you have a log, and then you slice that, and it makes these like swirly like cake slices, like round slices, and like it was a pumpkin roll, so it was like pumpkin with like pumpkin spice
like
and like pumpkin puree. It was a pumpkin cake, yeah, but it had cream cheese icing in the middle, and it was just so good. The reason it's bittersweet is, unfortunately, he passed away this year from COVID, sadly. So that, you know, we're not getting that pumpkin roll anymore. I mean, that's you know that's you know the just like the icing on the cake of just like grieving and just like the tragedy that is like he, you know, great guy. Like we miss him a lot. Like, but not to get too into bummer territory since we're supposed to be having fun making Thanksgiving foods and freaking video game tiers. But so yeah, so pumpkin roll, like we always had it around Thanksgiving, and like that I would stick that in high tier just because like that it was honestly one of my favorite desserts of all time. So like hopefully one of his daughters will like take up the you know, like I will take the rings and mortar. Like hopefully she takes up that gauntlet, and you know one of them starts making it from now on, because that's awesome. I don't want to live in a world without pumpkin rolls. Next up, after pumpkin rolls, we have turnips. Now turnips, my family would have on occasion, and I didn't like them.
I don't know if I've ever had a turnip, so like I'm fine with putting them in bottom tier.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick turnips. I don't think they're bottom tier because they're like potatoes. They're kind of like an earthier tasting potato. They kind of have like a springy or like crunch to them. Like you can whip them or like you can mash them and whip them like mashed potatoes. They're not as good as mashed potatoes.
So if mashed potatoes are in low tier, shouldn't something less good than mashed potatoes be in bottom?
Because they're not awful. They're not as bad as sweet potato casserole. Like, they're just fine. They're not like the tiers still, like you can still like they're below mashed potatoes in low tier, but they're both low tier. So they're just, I don't know. I think it's bigger in the South. They're big into turnips, but like, you know what? Turnips, they can't be bottom tier because if you buy a bunch of turnips and then sell them in Animal Crossing, you can become a millionaire. So they can't be bottom tier.
I guess.
You gotta play the stock market.
Fine.
All right. Next up, let's do Japanese croquettes, also known as karaoke, which we'll do that last.
Okay.
Japanese croquettes, they're basically just potato croquettes. So I've never had them for Thanksgiving, but we've had croquettes before, and
that's another mid tier.
Yeah, that's probably a mid tier. I don't know if I would. I might even stick it into like low tier because we already put tebasaki. The tebasaki wings are in like high tier, so like I don't know. I don't think they need to be like. I would stick them in low tier because like they do contain seafood a lot too. I think.
Never mind. Fuck
but
that
like
then.
they're basically like they're just because they are Japanese croquettes. Just think of what it would be like if Japan made a croquette. So it has like I think sometimes they have soy sauce, but they usually have seafood in them. But like they are potato croquettes. But I don't know. Seafood doesn't belong at Thanksgiving, so that's going into low tier. So karaoke, you are going to low tier, and last but certainly not least, mac and cheese.
This is tough because mac and cheese on its own, like god tier. Like mac and cheese is just a dinner.
That's a god tier. That's amazing.
But then like I've never personally had it at Thanksgiving.
Neither have I.
And I don't know how it really fits into Thanksgiving dinner.
It's tricky, yeah.
But then like again, fucking mac and cheese, like I mean, it can't go any lower than mid tier. I would say high tier.
Let's stick it in high tier because I don't know, like what we need to do is we need to go to like a good soul food Thanksgiving feast and like see how it's done, how they implement it like into like I don't know if you're like supposed to like serve it alongside the gravy, but like it's tricky, and we're two very white families, so that's gonna be tricky to pull off. I feel like I don't know to try to get to the bottom of that would probably result in some sort of Curb Your Enthusiasm scenario where like we just come off as racist. So we're just gonna stick it in high tier and just leave it at that. So right now, what we've got is God tier contains stuffing and pumpkin pie. I think that's fair. High tier is turkey, gravy, tebasaki wings, pumpkin roll, and mac and cheese. Next up, mid tier is biscuits, rolls, broccoli, cauliflower, artichokes, and roasted carrots. Low tier, you got mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce, green bean casserole, apple pie, turnips, and Japanese croquettes, karaoke. And then last, and certainly least, bottom tier is pecan pie and sweet potato casserole. Candied yams are just the absolute garbage bottom.
Those are the bottom of the bottom.
You'd have to pay me money to eat candied yams. I would never in a million years willingly, unless it was for a joke, just so that I could be like, oh, these suck. Who made these? And just be a dick.
Yeah, I thought we'd have to move stuff around, but looking over, it's actually pretty fine.
I'm pretty satisfied with this. Stuffing and pumpkin pie definitely deserve to be god tier. Yeah. Those are the top tier. Like everybody, like we said, everybody loves pumpkin pie. Nobody goes to Thanksgiving and just like that is the dessert you have. Yeah. And then stuffing is like I feel like most people would eat more stuffing than turkey if given the chance. Like everybody loves stuffing.
I would say the only thing up for debate possibly is if turkey should move up to god tier. And my only thing is because like the picture of a Thanksgiving dinner is a huge turkey just sitting in the middle. Yeah. So like
turkey's got to go up in the god tier then, just because you can't have a Thanksgiving dinner without a turkey. So turkey's moving up to god tier, and then that should about wrap it up then. So here, once again, I'll put them up on the screen for you. But god tier, you got turkey, stuffing, pumpkin pie. High tier is gravy, tebasaki wings, pumpkin roll, mac and cheese. Mid-tier is biscuits, rolls, broccoli, cauliflower, artichoke, roasted carrots. Your low tiers are mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce, green bean casserole, apple pie, turnips, and croquettes. And then the bottom, pecan pie, sweet potato, like candied yams. So there is your Thanksgiving tier list. That is your official deep dish Thanksgiving food tier list. I'm glad we did this. It's getting me really excited for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Like, everyone looks forward to Thanksgiving, but like, I don't know. The good thing about Thanksgiving is just like, it's such an underrated holiday.
It is.
Like, it's so just like
I feel like-
cheery and warm and nice and like.
I feel like all the TV tropes are like, Thanksgiving, I gotta go spend time with my family that's
Fuck
shitty and
that.
like that I can't get along with.
Fuck
and it's like
that.
I feel bad for people who don't get along with their
Yeah.
families, and like that does suck. But like, I don't know, find your friend family or like
or break it down. Like
Yeah.
fuck family politics and it's just like, oh, they didn't invite me to their house. It was just make it work. Thanksgiving's supposed to be just like a nice, wholesome, hearty, like warm holiday. Like you just get to like take it easy. Everybody eats a lot of food.
Yeah.
It's the one day a year where it's okay to be like the fattest ass. And then everyone gets tired after,
Yeah.
and you sit down and I don't know, you listen to like smooth jazz or something. Because for some reason, anytime you go to turn on like play Thanksgiving music, like everything that comes up, it's always like smooth jazz or like just quiet like instrumentals.
yeah, piano.
I put together a Thanksgiving playlist. I would love to put it up on YouTube, but like a lot of it is like licensed, copyrighted music, so don't want to get like copyright strikes. So, well, I don't know. Once again, if for some reason you want to hear my Thanksgiving playlist, then reach out on social media. We'll find a way to make it happen. So that should wrap it up for today's main course buffet. Hope you all saved room as always for some dessert. I think I jinxed it because earlier today I was like, hey, this episode's gonna be like the first one in a few weeks that's gonna be under an hour long. And
We're in about an hour now and still
Yeah.
have a segment left.
so oops. I didn't think we were gonna get that in depth with Thanksgiving foods, but
How
like
could you
how
be
could
so
we
naive?
not? How could we not? I thought we would get through it faster, but like we got a lot to say about a lot of those foods. So and it was a big list too. I feel like we covered all of our bases.
Yeah.
Like if we forgot a Thanksgiving food, mention it in the comments below or on Facebook, and we'll try and rectify that somehow. Because like we're working with the best that we could got. So let's move on to a good old-fashioned shitty old recipes. So shitty old recipes is a game we like to play where we delve into the worst possible recipes we could find in the old-timey cookbooks on our shelves or sometimes on the internet. One of us reads the title and the other tries to guess what sort of unthinkable ingredients make it up. Today I'm going to be guessing and she will be guessing here, or she'll be reading the recipe, so let's get started.
Alright, so today's recipe comes from Rumford Cookbook, which is actually, it was made by Rumford Baking Powder. So a lot of the recipes, I don't know if that's a spoiler, but the recipes probably involve
Is baking powder in it?
probably, yes. But, so like, surprised, I was actually pleasant, when is it from? Sorry. Why didn't it tell me when this from? Well, whatever. It's old.
It was before dates were invented.
Yeah. All I can find is that the Rumford Chemical Works was incorporated in 1859, but that's not when this is from.
That's what you want. You want a cookbook brought to you from a chemical company.
Yeah. But either way, like, I was pleasantly surprised. Like, a lot of the recipes in here are actually, like, pretty fine. But then I got to this section of recipes for the chafing dish, and that's where it all
Ooh.
went downhill.
All right. What do you got for me today?
I have for you. This actually should have been in last episode for Halloween, but we did poor taste instead.
We did.
I have for you deviled bones.
Deviled bones.
I'm surprised Charlie didn't perk up
Huh.
at bones.
Can you eat bones?
You can eat marrow.
Oh, I don't like where this is going. Oh, no. I always hated that trope of people were like, oh, you just crack the bones open, you suck the marrow out. Like, ugh, I just spit on the table because of making that noise. I mean, that's less sloppy than actually eating marrow and doing that for real.
I will say, I don't think it's actually eating marrow, though.
Oh, no, that's even weirder. Is it like, okay, is it a dessert, though?
No.
It's not a dessert?
No.
Oh, my God. All right, well, let me start off by asking the question that we're all thinking is, are there bones in this recipe?
Technically, yes. What animal's bones?
Well, that just opens up a whole bunch of fucking other questions then. Oh, boy. Chicken bones?
Yes. It calls for drumsticks, second joints, and wings of a cooked chicken.
What? Section joints and drumsticks?
Second joints.
Oh, second joints. Wow.
I don't know what that is. I think it's part of the wing, probably.
It's probably the part that you're like, this is not edible. Get rid of it. Jeez. Okay. Well, I like we've been through this a few times. We've done this like plenty of times, and I don't even know where to start with this. Because how do you cook a bone? Like, does it contain chicken broth? Are you making like a soup?
It contains a half cup of hot stock, which I'm assuming is like
stock or broth. Okay, so we got that. I'm assuming it contains like salt or something.
Yeah, there's salt.
Salt, pepper.
Yeah, there's pepper.
Okay, salt and pepper. Wow, this is hard mode.
Honestly, like reading over the like actual procedure, like it doesn't even actually seem like that bad. Just the name was like, I knew that would throw you. So,
all right,
there is one ingredient I have no idea what the fuck it is.
Oh, well, that makes it easy because if you don't even know what it is, I can't guess it. How many ingredients are there that like I gotta guess?
That you haven't guessed yet?
Yeah, I haven't guessed yet.
8.
8
or 9? Well,
9.
Well, you said salt, but then there's also pepper. But like salt and pepper go together, so I'll give you that
so
one.
Many. Are they a lot of like seasonings or something or?
Yeah.
Parsley.
Yeah, there's finely chopped parsley.
Parsley. Okay. Garlic powder.
No.
Garlic.
No.
Or onion powder.
No.
What the what old spices did they have in like the 1900s? Bay leaf? Jeez. Friggin'. Are they all spices or oh well okay, well there's the one you said you don't even know what it is, so
well it's not a spice, the one I don't know what it is.
I don't even know what to guess for this. Is there milk in it?
No.
Is there butter?
There is butter. There's 2 tablespoons of butter. Let me know when you want a hint, and I will give you a hint.
I want a hint, just because like I don't even know what like the cooking procedure for this is.
It seems like it's actually kind of like old-timey chicken wings, like buffalo wings, but not buffalo.
What the frig? Are they? I don't even.
So like, think of some of the flavors of like buffalo wings, but without like just
peppers, hot peppers.
There's cayenne.
Oh, okay, cayenne. Tomato paste?
No.
Ketchup?
Here's where... So...
Okay, I'm listening.
It says 1 tablespoon walnut ketchup.
Walnut ketchup? Huh.
So, yeah, like... I don't know what that is. But I'll give you ketchup.
Sure. Holy crap. Oh, I gotta... I'm sorry to everyone. I gotta throw in the towel early on this one just because...
You kind of had, with the peppers, there's also 1 tablespoon chili sauce, which is probably peppery.
Okay. But, alright, so tell us what this recipe is, because I don't even know what to guess for it anymore.
So, deviled bones, 2 tablespoons butter, 1 tablespoon chili sauce, 1 tablespoon Worcestershire sauce.
Oh, yeah.
1 tablespoon walnut ketchup, 1 tablespoon made mustard. I guess before you could like buy just mustard. You had to make your
Prepared
mustard. Yeah. Few grains cayenne. Drumsticks, second joints and wings of a cooked chicken. Salt, pepper, flour, half cup hot stock, finely chopped parsley. You melt butter and add to chili sauce, Worcestershire sauce, walnut ketchup, mustard, and cayenne. Cut 4 small gashes in each piece of chicken.
Oh, that's gashes. I like they use the word gashes.
Sprinkle with salt and pepper, dredge with flour, and cook in the seasoned butter until well browned. Pour on stock, simmer 5 minutes, and sprinkle with chopped parsley.
That doesn't sound terrible, I guess, now that you mention it, but...
I just really liked the name.
It's just weird. It doesn't even sound bad, it just sounds weird.
Yeah.
Like, I guess it was probably like a recycling food, like, nobody wants, like, the drumstick, like, weird, like, second sections and stuff, so...
It's weird that it's already cooked, but then you also still dredge it and then, like, cook again.
Yeah, I guess just to crisp it up. That's a weird one. So, I guess with that, we're all set here, peeps. Check, please. So that about wraps it up for this week's edition of Poor Couples Food Guide Deep Dish Podcast. Remember, we are in fact the only podcast left where you're more likely to hear about cereal than serial killers.
Search recipes, cooking tips, and other cool stuff on our website, poorcouplesfoodguide.com. And don't forget, you can always write into us at mail@poorcouplesfoodguide.com to ask for any food advice that you may need.
You can also send in any comments, feedback, criticism, hate mail, love mail, chain letters, postcards, and whatever random pondering should pass your mind. Once again, that's mail@poorcouplesfoodguide.com, or if you'd like, you can hit us up on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram as well.
While you're at it, try and give us some ratings and reviews on whatever platform you're using. It really helps us gain exposure, which is great while we try to help Deep Dish's audience grow. Or if you're on YouTube, please give us a like if you haven't. Smash that subscribe button to pieces.
Next week, we're going to be doing a little bit of a surprise. We're not even going to bother doing it. It's chili. It's going to be chili. We're going to do an episode on chili. But the surprise is that we're going to have a special guest who is a regional expert on chili. And by regional expert on chili, I mean he's from Texas.
And our friend.
Yeah, he's our friend. He's a friend of ours who lives in Texas. So I feel like he is a much better leading authority on chili than we are. Much in the same way that we'd be a much better leading authority to him on penne al vodka or something, or lasagna. So look forward to that when we do the next episode, which will be doing chili con carne with special guest Patrick Reagan. So until then, everybody, we bid you good day and good eats, so stay hungry and keep feeding that brain.
And tummy! What?
Be noisy.
That's impossible. I'm trying.
I guess it's good enough.